guys, and welcome back to another video on the Center Circle channel. And in today's video, we have got the founder of BCOMS. If you guys don't know what BCOMS is, BCOMS stands for the Black Collective of Media in Sport. And today I have the founder of that collective, and I have Leon Mann with me. Leon, how are you doing?
I'm good, Dante. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. An interesting choice of background there, knowing that I'm a Spurs fan, but it's all good.
It's great to have you on, man. And I mean, just to explain, the reason why I do have this background on is because I did go to the one of the Arsenal games last season, and that was due to BCOM. So once again, Leon, thanks a lot, and to the incredible team at BCOMs for allowing me to have a great opportunity and stuff. So yeah. So guys, in today's video, as Leon said, he is a Tottenham fan. So I feel like it is best to talk about just Tottenham in general. Like I know there's a lot of things going on at Spurs with like the transfers, you guys coming out of the Carabao Cup. So yeah, let's just briefly talk about that actually. So you guys came out of the Carabao Cup and you lost to Fulham. What have you made of it? Are you disappointed?
Yeah, do you know what? It's a strange one because normally with the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup, as a big team, when you go out of it, you're not massively disappointed because your kind of bigger targets involve the Champions League, European football, doing something special in the Premier League. Who knows? So it's lower down on the list of priorities. But for where Tottenham are right now, the Carabao Cup or the EFL Cup is the best opportunity we have to win a trophy. And we are desperate as a supporter base to win a trophy, and the club really needs it. So going out is significant. Now, I understand what Ange Postecoglou was saying, basically, in terms of why he made that decision, because he was saying he needs to rotate the players because that's the only way he'll be able to see them to make decisions on who's going to play a significant role this season, and who potentially is going to leave the club. However, it was a huge gamble to do that in a game that was really important and was always going to be pretty difficult because Fulham value that competition. And Fulham are a very underrated side. Marco Silva has them incredibly well organised. They've got a very talented assistant manager in Luis Boamorte, and they just keep getting the best out of the players that they have. So I'm disappointed. I think it's going to have a big impact on our season, actually, because now we don't have any midweek football until the FA Cup starts. So keeping that squad of players happy without many games is going to be a challenge. But Andrew's saying all the right things. In Andrew we trust.
Mm. Okay, that's interesting. I know you spoke about Ange, like I don't know, like he rotates the players. Now that you guys have come out the Carabao Cup, is it more the fact that you have to now play your strongest 11 until you coming back when the FA Cup comes in? Because you guys don't have nothing to play for until the FA Cup, you have to play you have to play your strongest team possible up until like when the FA Cup comes in.
Yeah, I mean, look, the best thing for us this season is actually not being in Europe, and I know that sounds strange, but for us, we need to be back in the Champions League, and that's going to be incredibly difficult when you look at the caliber of teams. When you think Liverpool can't be as bad as they were last season, Chelsea can't be as bad as they were last season. It's going to be tough up there, and there are emerging teams. Brentford aren't an easy game, stepped up. Newcastle have really stepped up. So can they maintain that while being in Europe? But for us, not having Europe means that we have to absolutely play our best 11 every single week. And that is going to cause some disruption because there are many very well thought of and experienced players that will expect to play every week that at the moment probably won't make our starting 11. So how do you keep them happy um, in that situation when they're not playing every week, maybe coming off the bench, getting 20 minutes at the best? That's something Ange's got to manage. But we absolutely have to play our best team every week. And I'm excited by the actual football that we're playing because we've had best part of half a decade of incredibly dull, reductive football, which was designed to get results. But if you don't get the results, then it ain't much fun. The results, then you can live with it and talk about the great individual moments of excellence from people like Son and Kane and Kulusevski. However, when you're not playing well and you're losing games, it's just awful. So now with Ange playing this high risk, high reward football, it feels like more positive times at Tottenham. And don't get me wrong, while I think it's going to succeed, I hope it's going to succeed. Tottenham fans are also going to have to be patient because I do think that we're going to take a couple of hidings because the test for us will be if we go 1 or 2 down to a top team, particularly away from home, playing that kind of football. The players have to remain confident in what they're doing, and that will be a big test for them. And the games that I've seen, we could have easily been 1 or 2 down early on in those games because of the kind of high risk football that we're playing. But those teams didn't execute against us, which enabled us to go on and continue to build confidence and play well. And also, someone like Yves Bissouma is so important as the pivot in that team. I don't see many other players in the Premier League that can play the role that he's playing at the moment in the way that he's playing because he can have the ball comfortably in tight positions and turn, bring other players into that, and he can also beat a player. So exciting times at Spurs, but some challenges ahead.
Okay. No, to be honest with you, I've actually been impressed with Tottenham. I mean, over the last 5 years that I've seen Tottenham under Conte, under Mourinho, even under like Nuno, you guys weren't playing the football that I've known Spurs for under Pochettino. So now that I'm seeing the football that Postecoglou's playing, it could excite the fans, but at the same time, looking at the result midweek in the Carabao Cup, you think to yourself, "Oh, are Spurs back to being Spursy?" As like other fans would say. But I don't think you should look too much into it, even though it's been disappointing. Because at the end of the day, you guys did play like a weakened team, and it wasn't like your strong team. So I
And
think
we lost on penalties. We lost on penalties essentially, right? And the
yeah.
person who missed the penalty is someone who probably shouldn't be taking a penalty. In all honesty, Davidson Sanchez,
Mm,
he's got a lot of unfair stick. He hasn't had the greatest few years with Tottenham, but he's also had some really good, important displays as well within that.
mm,
But he's not the guy I think in in an Ange system that's going to thrive because that needs a centre backs and everybody to be really comfortable on the ball. And unfortunately for Davidson Sanchez, he just isn't that comfortable on the ball in possession. He's much better kind of, you know, as someone who can play on the turn, which actually helps the Ange system because we play a high line, so he's fast, he's strong. His positioning isn't bad at times, but equally, if you're not good on the ball in this Ange side, you're really going to get found out.
mm.
And that's why I think someone like Højbjerg probably doesn't fit what we are right now. And Ange has been quite upfront with that in terms of the likelihood of him and Sanchez to move on.
Okay, so looking on like the signs you made, are you happy with the signings that you've made? I know you signed Madison, which is, in my opinion, like one of the best signings of the summer, if you ask me.
Madison is just born for this Ange system because he's just so techy. He can have
Mm,
the ball, he can turn in tight spaces. He's got fantastic delivery. He's an intelligent player, playing the ball through the lines. He's playing him in a very advanced position, um, essentially as a number 10. He's wearing the number 10. So I think he's just a phenomenal signing. The centre back, Mickey, I think, I haven't seen a lot of him, but what I have seen of him is he kind of quietly goes about his business. Physically, he's big. He looks fairly comfortable, pretty comfortable on the ball. Time will tell because we've been in this position with many different players, particularly at centre back over the years, where we thought this person is, the solution. But we've gone from Vertonghen and Alderweireld, who are just fantastic with, Carl Walker and Danny Rose, to a
yeah.
real mismatch. But, Romero started off for us looking absolutely incredible. And then World Cup came along, lost a bit of interest before that. After the World Cup, completely lost interest. But it looks like he's got his concentration back and his focus back, and he's been playing, well. And he direct in terms of how he tackles and plays the game. Very comfortable on the ball, but sometimes you worry he can feel like he might think he's a bit better than what he is on the ball, and actually takes risks that we might get found out on at some point. But high risk, high reward. It's the Ange way. So Maddison in the new centre back in. I don't think those two in particular are bad signings. The goalkeeper has done very well in terms of the percentage of saves. We haven't conceded many. He looks like he's pretty good on the ball with his feet, which is what Ange needs in that system. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on. I'd say the first game of the season at Brentford, I was there and wasn't sure, but since then he's kind of certainly impressed the supporter base, and the reviews have been positive.
No, that's good to hear. Quick question on Harry Kane.
Adoji, sorry, Adoji as well.
Yeah,
At left back.
yeah, he's good as well. So,
in Italy, we were getting great reports about him last year while we'd signed him, and he was on loan to his club that we'd bought him from. And yeah, he's looked really secure. He's a player. He'll be Italy left back for the next 10 years if he continues playing like this. And yeah, I'm very excited about the potential he has to really make an impact at Spurs.
that's good. Just a quick question on Harry Kane. I know like he's now gone on to pastures new at Bayern Munich. Do you think losing Harry Kane will affect what you do this season?
I think if you lose a player of the caliber of Harry Kane, it's going to impact you, whoever you are. You could be Real Madrid, you could be Barcelona, you could be whoever, Manchester United, Man City, Arsenal. If you lose a player of that quality, it's going to impact you. However, I feel that such is the presence of Harry Kane at Tottenham Hotspur that almost everything had become about going to Harry to carry this whole club almost on his shoulders. So I felt for us to really turn the corner, to really have an opportunity to genuinely change, we had to let him go. And many Spurs fans wouldn't agree with that position. But for me, I just felt it just was too much of a focus on Harry Kane and not focus on the future of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So by having Hugo Lloris leave the club eventually, so he's not part of the plans, having Harry move on after incredible service, same as Hugo Lloris, incredible service, and changing the leadership group in terms of the captain and the two deputy captains, so Son being the captain, Maddison and Romero being the deputy captains. I think it really signals a new era for Spurs, which we've needed since Pochettino left. And even when Pochettino was there, we still needed to move some players on or bring significant players in to join the players that were there. So the refresh that we've been desperate for is actually here now. And if we can get a few more decent players in key positions, such as that number 9, because Richarlison, is he the Brazilian number 9 of the World Cup, or is he the guy who kind of does some incredible things but doesn't put the ball in the back of the net and works very hard or runs around a lot? I'm hopeful he can come through, but we can't be reliant on that being the make or break for our season. So we've got to get somebody else in to be able to challenge him. Or we've got to be able to play Son through the middle and get his in to help out. And that looks like that might be the route that they're going down.
Okay, that's interesting. I like I said, I mean, the time of recording this video, we're like a day away from the transfer window ending, so that might not even happen. So, but let's just pretend like the transfer window has closed. And you've named the signings, Maddison, the goalkeeper, the centre back, and the left back that you guys got. What is the expectation for Spurs this season? Whether that's get a trophy or finish whatever you can in the table, what's the expectation? And what would you accept as a Tottenham fan?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the moment, really, the expectation is that we play good football. That is the bottom line. We have to play good football, and we are doing that at the moment. And trust me, that is really making a difference in the stands at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and amongst the supporters watching it. It really does mean a lot to us as Spurs fans that we play good football. In terms of the expectation, of course, with a trophy, maybe we'll get the FA Cup. And in terms of what we do in the league, I think we'll quietly go about our business, and let's see where we are come, February time. But we could easily be 14th or we could be 5th. I think that's where we are right now. We've got off to a good start. The Manchester United victory is a great one, but I think the timing of when we played Manchester United was very good for us, because Manchester United aren't in a great place right now. Bournemouth away, you'd expect to win that. Brentford away, thought we, got a fair result in terms of a draw there, and that's a good result there. Let's see how we get on. It's too early to call it, but I think we could finish anywhere between 5th and 14th. And clearly, 5th would be great. 14th would not be so great. But if we play football and there are signs of moving towards being a top footballing club and having the foundations to build upon, then if we finish 14th, while I won't be shouting about it, I'll feel positive that we've actually tried to play football, and we will know exactly what we need at that point.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I'll be very surprised because like you guys don't have European football and you've only got the FA Cup to play for, in which is your only realistic chance of winning the trophy. I can definitely see Tottenham getting into Europe this season, like whether that be Conference League, whether that be Europa League, maybe even Champions League, but that's a big shout. But I would be very surprised if Spurs don't get European football this season.
Yeah, well, look, if we're saying European football is down to what, 8th or 9th now, then I think it would be, it wouldn't be perceived as a good season if we fell outside of 8th or 9th. All I would, ask those watching this to reflect on is, if you're building something, you're genuinely building something, you have to understand what you are and who you are first. So I would prefer us to finish 10th and just get into playing really good football and have an identity again that is the Tottenham way. And if that means we're losing games 4-2 because we're trying to play this kind of high-risk football and we're making a good go of it in all the games we play against. Look, Manchester City are way out front. Arsenal have got great depth now, I feel. And while they're messing about with their system, they'll settle into winning football games. Of course they will. We know that's going to happen. Liverpool can't be as bad as they were before. Chelsea can't be as bad as they were before. Newcastle have got an interesting season because they've got Champions League football as well as the domestic football that they're in. Aston Villa are going to be very interesting. They've got a great director of football, a great manager, and they're assembling a really exciting squad. So it's going to be no walk in the park for anyone there. Crystal Palace on their day can turn up and cause problems. Brentford have kind of become that team that caused problems. So you can go right through all the teams in the league. Luton are not going to give you an easy game at their place. They're going to go long and beat you up. How's that going to work with Ange Ball when we go to Luton, for example? It will go two ways. We'll either kind of be totally in possession and capitalizing on that, or they'll kind of go over the press and get someone in behind and play off set pieces. So that will surprise a few, including the Manchester Cities of this world, because they've got nothing to lose in those games. So it's going to be a fascinating season. If Tottenham make the Champions League, I would be over the moon. But I think realistically, Champions League is going to be something we would be going for next season if they're buying the right players and working to the philosophy of the club in the right way.
Okay, thank you, Leon, for like giving us a Tottenham insight. Really appreciate you coming on the channel as well. So yeah, guys, like I said, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out BCOMS as well. Leon's doing a fantastic job with that. Like I said, also check out Leon, the amazing work that he's doing in the industry as well. So yeah, and also check me out as well. And yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we are out.
Nice one. Take it easy.
Who sends the travelling support into practice? Bruno's free kick is flicked into